Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I'm Brendan Lee with thebrendanlee.com in support of consciousness and skill worldwide. Welcome back. In this video, another post from the forum, I want to talk to you about how your environment influences effectiveness. Cool. Thanks for writing in again. Keep writing. Please. Hello, could you talk about how to design your physical environment so that it aids in consciousness and skill? My initial thought was that you should aim to be equally effective regardless of what environment you are in, but I'm not so sure whether that is possible. For example, I could live in a messy and disorganized environment. I could prepare a meal with a dull knife, or use a slow computer instead of a fast one. That way I won't rely on external circumstances being perfect. What are your thoughts on that? Okay, cool. Hey, thanks again for writing in. If you want to do the forum, check the links in the description of the video. My thoughts on that. Well, okay, how could I design my environment so that it aids in consciousness and skill? Well, my first thoughts on that are, right away, I want to shut down any potential, like turning consciousness and skill into a thing. Although that is my whole goal, is to turn consciousness and skill into a thing. That's why I started calling Cheng Shin consciousness and skill, because that's what we're up to essentially. And then to assume, I want to make sure that you don't assume that it's like, oh, I could then find a perfect environment that would then aid in consciousness and skill. This is the right environment to have versus this is not the right environment to have. So more, I like to inspire people and have them consider how to create an understanding about environment itself, such that then you can decide what environment do you want. And then you go do your own thing. You know, I had this woman I was speaking to in Australia recently. You know, she was asking me about this work, and we got to talking. And one of the things she said, which I really appreciated, she's like, yeah, I was looking around at different types of work, and then you and Peter were the only guys that weren't religious about it. Like, apparently many other spiritual practices and work, it's like people take the religious road, which is to say, it's like, here's a belief system, here's the right thing to believe, here's the wrong thing to believe, and we don't do any of that crap. We're not into that. You know, this belief system or right way to live and all this stuff. Now, there are ways I prefer people live, but that's my shit, not, do you see, that's irrelevant to the work. And so I thought that was refreshing, and so did she, which I thought was great. And so then I try to ward people off that. Don't consider, oh, there's like some sort of right environment to have. You need to have a certain environment. And then I can see that spiraling out of control. And then some people, you know, they're like, oh, you need to eat this kind of food to get enlightened. You need to do this kind of things and that kind of things. And only if you do those things, then you can get enlightened. Fuck off. Nope. Sorry. Wrong. It's incorrect. It's just flat out wrong. Like literally wrong. Like 2 + 2 does not equal 5. Literally, like, incorrect. Anyway, doesn't matter. All right. So now, about to design your physical environment. Here are some things that I've learned about designing physical environments or my own environment. A few things to invite you to consider. One, if we're doing consciousness work, for example, I will set up on purpose the environment in which people practice to minimize distraction. Why? Because it's somehow the right best environment to make, for that? No, it's more like a close and careful observation of, what's the job? What am I trying to accomplish? And what environment serves that job? Given the factors involved. So then you might say, well, then what are the factors involved? Well, in terms of consciousness work, and I'm thinking more specifically, a contemplation intensive, shameless plug. We do those in the fall. Check the links. Come do a workshop. right? Contemplation intensive, it's very serious, and the mind must remain focused. Now, it seems that one of the aspects of mind is when it's put under that kind of pressure and that kind of intensity, it wants to look for some way out. Anything to get distracted. Anything to get distracted. We have people cover up clothing that's got too much letters on their clothes because, sure enough, you know, some people like 4 or 5 days in on a contemplation intensive, they'll be like reading people's t-shirts, like, whoa, Nike, like, what's that about? And it's just, no, you see, because the mind does that. You see, that's just an aspect of mind. So then in this case, it's like having the environment be a servant to the job. Then the job is what decides the environment. Yeah? And then this is an environment that is conducive to becoming more conscious, which, not that the environment fucking matters, but in terms of allowing people to focus, which tends to have a positive effect, an empowering effect on this kind of work. Minimize distraction. Again, it's in the focus department. We don't allow things like cell phones in those cases. It's like you turn them off for the week. At the weekend, turn them back on. But during the workshop, no. You see, why? Because again, it's distracting. It's disempowering to the job, right? So now if we had a different job, for example, maybe I want to have some OCD people that really have a problem, like can't help, but like they have to have their environment super clean. I might have them on purpose create a messy environment. You see? And then that's a totally different environment. And now, again, does the environment serve the job at hand? Right? So those are some thoughts about, say, environment increasing consciousness. Now, an environment that is conducive to skill, again, it really depends, since this is a question that is very subjective. It depends on the circumstance. If you want to be effective at what? Environments like a monastic environment is not effective for learning skydiving. Skydiving requires a different environment with a different set of things and a different set of objects. I know I'm stating the obvious, but sometimes it's worthwhile to look into these things. It's like, oh yeah, right. So then again, it depends on what it is you're trying to be effective at. So I would immediately query you. What are you trying to do? How do you want to do it? What is it you want to create? And then go ahead and create that. Now, something to consider just about environment in general. From my own experience, I used to think about having a clean space as like my parents telling me what to do. Oh, you need to have this neat and tidy and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, screw you, not going to happen. That's like the childish view. And then later on in life, I started to take a look at my own experience and notice, oh, right, if my environment is messy, my mind is a little bit as if messy. How do I feel when I look at a clean environment versus how do I feel when I look at a messy one? And then I started to look at, well, I'm going to live my whole life. How do I want to be living my life? In what environment do I want to be living? And it turns out the answer to that question is an environment that lends itself more towards clean and tidy than one that is more towards disorganization. And then it became a conscious choice on my part. Yeah, obviously the clean environment's better. Same with my car. See? Does somebody have to tell me to clean up? Well, when I was apprenticing, of course, yeah. You do what the teacher says or the drill sergeant says. Is aye, Captain, going to do that right now. Do I understand why I'm cleaning it? No, maybe not. But then later on, I start to get, oh, this is actually a good thing, worthwhile to do. And then I decide to do it because it's worthwhile, not because somebody told me. See what I'm saying? So I want to empower you in that regard as well. As always, I'll say some thoughts, but I don't give a shit what you do. It's up to you what you do. Right, which brings me back to the Australian lady. He said we were wrapping up our phone call. And she started to ask me questions like, well, is that a good thing to do? Or is that the right thing or the wrong thing to do? And I basically told her, like, look, it's out of my hand. Like, she's basically asking me questions about as if how she should live her life, in my estimation. And I said, no, good and bad's up to you. What you hold as good and bad, that's on you. That's your thing. That's not for me to say. That's your life. What you have as good and bad for you is for you. It's your stuff for you. So you deal with that. You know? And or create that for yourself. What do you want to create? Okay. So now, and then, yeah, there's other stuff where you're talking about if you want to achieve it or be effective at a certain thing. If I'm working in the computer world and I've got a slow-ass computer, of course, that is going to limit my effectiveness in terms of being efficient with time and other stuff like that. I could also see having a slow computer teaches me other skills, like being patient, for example, or having to work differently with a slow computer, or take more time and arrange my logistics so I get the project done on time. So again, you see how this can fluctuate and change, just really depends on the situation. And yeah, of course, if you're cooking food, a sharp knife is way better for the job. Obviously, you ever try to cut tomatoes with a dull knife? It slips off the tomato, goes in your finger. We don't need that. Sharp knife, boom, gets the job done. You know, so then again, the question, I just ask you more questions. Well, what's the job? How do you want it to unfold? How good do you want to be? What objects are going to serve the job best? What objects are going to be worse? What environment would be best for what job? When? You see, is there a time that works better than other times? All these things you could be asking questions about to help generate an understanding of the material for yourself. Now, cool. And then that way I won't rely on external circumstances being perfect. Don't know what you mean there, or what you're after there. But whether your circumstances are perfect or not, you know, there are certain ways of operating that allow for effectiveness regardless of circumstance, and it would be useful to understand what those are. You know, and then you can be effective in any circumstance, or you make the best of whatever circumstance. Like it brings to mind to me the American Marines. They have something in their training they could improvise, adapt, and overcome. You see, that's a powerful as if principle to live by if you're facing challenges. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Like basically, as far as I can tell, it's handle your shit. You know, get it done. Improvise, figure it out, adapt, make a change, overcome, finish the job. And these things, they end up in military circles, and I enjoy that because military people tend to be a little more effective at logistics, handling problems, solving problems, getting jobs done quickly and done well in certain regards because they need to. But some of that stuff is powerful for human beings in general. So I enjoy those aspects. Okay. So then what principles could you create regarding your environment? Or, you know, what are the effects that your environment has on you, your state of mind, your job, or whatever? Start to map those out so then you can dial in whatever environment is optimal for you. Okay. So my invitation here is more for you to investigate. Classic Cheng Shin deal there. Go figure it out. Go learn. Take a look. See what's there. And then you decide how you want to proceed. Okay, cool. So, hey, that's what I got for you. Thanks for writing into the forum there. Sorry if I'm, well, actually, I'm not sorry. But I'm a little bit sweaty. I've been training 3 guys, and I've been doing a lot of martial training. I put a post about it on Facebook. Feel free to hit me up on Facebook, by the way, if you want to. And these guys are working a lot of hours, like 8.5 hours a day, physical training. And we've been doing that for days and days and days and days and days and days. And so tomorrow's our last day. Wish my guys some good luck. A couple of them are going for their tests tomorrow. I'm really proud of them. You know, they've been doing a lot of hard work, and they've been doing a lot of hard work with me, which is also has its own set of challenges. Okay. So wish them luck. Send them some love. Feel free to hit me up in the comments. That's what I have for you. Please continue to write in the forum. This helps me create content for you and serve you in some way. If you want to get a little serious, bam to bam, sales, pitchy stuff and shit, paid course, got a free course, paid course, hire me to be an online coach. Most importantly, come here, do a workshop. There are a lot of work. It's a workshop, and I cracked that joke way too many times. And those of you that have come to workshops probably smacking your heads right about now. Like, yep, he said it again. Yes, I did. All right, and yeah, all that stuff's in the links in the description. Feel free to hit me up in the comments. Feel free to email me, whatever, and then come out here and do some work. Like, get busy doing a workshop. I think that is how people progress the fastest, and it's the most powerful thing to do. And no video can possibly make you have that kind of progress. It just doesn't happen. All right? Not that it can't, it just does not. Haven't seen it yet. It's been a hot minute. Okay, so much love. Take care. Keep kicking ass out there. Love you guys, gals, whomever you are. Ciao for now. Bye.